much because first of all, in every election, there must be civic education. And they have not done any civic education to persons with disability. And that is one of the biggest challenge that persons with disability are facing. There is no civic education. They did come out with the persons with disability register, but we find that many of them are missing on those registers. And we had complaints in various parts of the country, and we personally wrote to the Chairman Electoral Commission raising those concerns that my members, my persons with disability were raising all over. And he promised to do something. And when they eventually chose to make the register clear, the names that they brought, some of them are not persons with disability, and many categories of disability are being left out. Like, for example, people with epilepsy, they are persons with disability. People with mental health, they are persons with disability. The little persons, they are persons with disability, and many other categories. They are not captured in the system. So when they are not captured, when they go for vote update, they say, for you are not a person with disability. For you are not a person with disability. And yet, the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability describe persons with disability. And even our Person with Disability Act 2020, that was just gazetted recently in February, also mentions different types of persons with disability. So I think the Electoral Commission need to follow the laws that governs persons with disability. Otherwise, discriminating someone because of his type of disability, they indicate a different disability. Yes, or even those cases are there. But to me, though it is a challenge, it is not a big challenge. Because if you're in the register, whether you've been named, your disability has been named as physical when you are blind, still your name will be there. But the biggest challenge is your name missing. We are trying to address those issues with the Electoral Commission, and indeed we had requested them to extend the deadline for updating of the voters register of persons with disability. But that appeal did not succeed, because right now they have closed register for persons with disability. But so many cases are there. When we go to election, for example, we are soon starting the election from the cell, from zone to the district level. But you find that at the zonal level, okay, it is somehow okay, and maybe at the parish level it is okay. But when it comes to electing the division or sub-county committees, the Electoral Commission does not facilitate that process. So you find that a person with disability, and they set out one center for election, is for example, living in Nakawa, and is required, or in Kawempe, and is required to come here in Intinda or Chuatre. So there is no facilitation for that person to come. First of all, the person is vulnerable and is not helped to come. When it comes to district election, it is the same. They organize election in one place, and they expect every person to come in that gazetted place, and many of them are coming in different sub-country, very far. So I don't know how they expect them to move and come and exercise their duty. So it is a challenge, and the Electoral Commission must address this. They must provide facilitation or transport for those that are supposed to elect at the district level, for those that are supposed to elect at the sub-county level. Otherwise, they will sit at home and say, I don't have money. How can I go there? And then you end up, the turn-up is very minimal because of the issue of facilitation. At the national level, somehow, somewhere, they do it, but not at the expectation of persons with disability. Because you find that someone is coming from, for example, Kotido, they are giving him or her an allowance which cannot even make her reach Mbali. So you see, those are challenges. So if someone has no passion for electing leaders, he will end up not participating in election. And for those who have managed to come, Again, there are challenges. You find that some for example, the blind community, some ballot papers are not brailled, and the blind person need to touch on the braille to know that I'm going to vote in Pindi, for example, or so and so. But if the ballot paper is not brailled, then you rely on the mercy of the guide. And you know, even guides have interest. I may choose to ignore you Namutamba, and then I say if Namutamba is very tricky, is not concluding, let me go behind her back and I talk to the guide. So I convince the guide vote me against your wish. So all those are issues that we need to address if we are to have an inclusive election which has impact to persons with disability in this country.